Lanes in Cheektowaga, New York. It's the finals of the $115,000 Greater Buffalo Open. Hello, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, along with three-time Firestone Tournament of Champions champion Mike Durbin. We're here at Thruway Lanes in Cheektowaga, New York. Should be an outstanding finals field this evening. 160 players started the tournament this week, and we have an intriguing assortment of players on the telecast this evening.
Intriguing, different, and very talented. We have perhaps the best black player in the nation on the telecast tonight. We have a right-hander who many consider the best right-hander over the last 17 years on our telecast tonight. We have a young left-hander who many people think is the best left-hander in the game tonight. And leading the tournament, we've got a young guy just 23 years old who is a rising young star in Chris Warren. So it should be an intriguing telecast tonight, Denny.
Well, let's not leave the bowling fans in suspense any longer. Let's take a look at the stepladder format. George Branham III will operate out of the number 5 slot.
The first black player to win a PBA tournament, won the Brunswick World Open last year, won the AC Delco tournament earlier this year. He's undefeated so far on television.
And in the number 4 position, Gil Sliker in 12 years has finished second 8 times.
Gil, a former doubles partner of mine. We won the 1983 Doubles Classic, but he's still looking for that elusive first singles victory.
Boy, the number 3 position is strong this evening. 32-time PBA champion Mark Roth.
As you say, 32 titles. He's closing in on Earl Anthony on the money record. Almost caught him, only 28,000 behind him, but he hasn't won since 1984.
And looking for his second title in a 7-week span, Parker Bohn III.
Well, he won in Seattle earlier this summer. He finished 3rd in Edmond just a few weeks ago. As we've said, many people think he's the best young left-hander on the tour today. He's looking for victory number 2 tonight.
And the Dynamo from Dallas. Boy, he really packs a punch, Chris Warren.
Averaged a whopping 260 for his last 8 games last night. He says he'd like to have one of those 260s tonight, and he'll have his first victory.
Bowling fans in the greater Buffalo area have really supported this tournament throughout the years. They've had some great champions. Tonight's show is certainly no exception to that rule.
Well, they've had some fantastic champions, but they've never had a left-handed champion, and that's the guy to watch tonight. Parker Bohn III is in 2nd place. He's got the edge, as Walter Ray Williams did a couple weeks ago when we had 4 lefties. Look out for Parker Bohn tonight.
Well, we're both looking forward to an exciting telecast this evening, and hopefully you will too. The finals of the $115,000 Greater Buffalo Open coming up next. Tonight's $115,000 Greater Buffalo Open is brought to you by Budweiser Beechwood Age, for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all that you do, this Bud's for you. And by True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business. And in the opening match, it'll be George Branham III looking to stay undefeated on national television. He matches up against Gil Sliker.
This Bud's for all that you do.
Like many before, you came here asking for just one thing. A chance.
Sadowski. Shidwolski. So what? He's pronounced Shidwolski.
You're here to make a new start, but starting out's the hard part. Whatever the test, you give it your best. You show you got the heart, 'cause you make America work, and this Bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers.
Hey, Sid.
You make America work, and this Bud's for you.
Come in and save during the Carnival of Values at True Value Hardware stores. Turtle Wax Rust Eater stops rust on the spot, and Clear Guard protects and beautifies surfaces. And after the mail-in rebates, they're practically free. This Master Mechanic reversing drill is just $27.99. Provide extra outlets and reach with the 10-inch power strip, only $2.19. And the extra-large Contico toolbox is just $15.99 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Good times never lasted longer.
Welcome back to Thruway Lanes in Cheektowaga, New York. Match number 1, the Greater Buffalo Open. On your right, George Branham III and Gil Sliker on the left. Branham will start the match. And in 2 previous appearances on national television, he is 7-0. He has never lost on national television.
He says, what's so difficult about this? It's easy, huh?
Well, he told me that there's a good possibility he could end up 11-0 after this evening's play.
Well, he was striking a lot in practice then. Gave it a little more room than he had been in practice. Leaves the weak 10 as the ball came in behind the head pin, hit behind the pocket, left that soft 10.
Last year, George Branham III winning just a fraction less than $60,000 on the tour. And this year, thus far, $40,780. So he has really turned into a steady player on the PBA National Tour.
Not bad for a 24-year-old.
In only his 3rd year as a PBA member. Boy, the crowds here have just been sensational all week, and Mike and I were chatting just before the show this evening. Tommy Baker of Buffalo is one of the outstanding PBA champions on the tour, and boy, he made a couple of telecasts here, and this place was absolutely bonkers.
This year, though, I think he finished 77th, so didn't make any money this year.
He still had his contingent out here cheering for him. Now, first shot for Gil Sliker on the championship pair, 45 and 46, and he drills the pocket. And if you hear a few cat calls throughout this evening, well, we are in New York, you know.
What does that mean, Danny?
Well, their fans have a tendency to let their emotions show. There you get a good first-hand look at 37-year-old Gil Sliker, who lamented earlier this evening that he was the elder statesman on the show tonight.
Well, I know the feeling. You know, if we were still bowling together, Gil and I's combined age would be way up there.
You guys would be collecting Social Security now.
Oh, for 20 years. For the double. Oh, nice break.
Got a chance to get a couple of pins going back and forth, and that's kind of a mini wall shot. Huh?
Well, you know, in order to strike, Dan, that one pin has to hit the 2 pin in order to get a strike. And that head pin just barely clipped the 2 pin, but it was enough to get him down.
So very quickly, Sliker off with a double, and Branham trails by 10.
He's been doing that all week long, slapping out that weak 10 on that half pocket hit.
Average 221.16 for the week. There you see his 87 average, 209.42. And there we get the update. High game of 269. Match play record 14-9 and 1.
Watch the swing. A little bit out, then back in, the follow through, straight through. Watch the sex spin. Second from the right. We'll just be able to get that 10 out. Now we're back to live action for the double.
Almost looked like an instant replay.
A little more solid, though. Didn't have to worry so much about the 10 there.
Well, I think George Branham III figured that if he didn't get out of the gate in a hurry, that Gil Sliker would lap him here before halfway through the first game.
Well, Gil's problem on television in the past has been, at least in my opinion, sometimes lapses in concentration. As they say, he gets sometimes just a little spacey for a second and loses concentration and usually pays for it. Gil going straighter than George Branham III, and you see the result. He got that ball into the oil a little bit and went straight through, soft 10. Branham goes around a little bit more. Ball's driving harder as it comes to the pocket. See the side view of Gil Sliker, head steady, backswing pretty high. Now watch the finish. He's weak. It's been here. I've always thought that he needed to get a little bit lower there, a little bit deeper knee bend. At the 10 pin. No problem.
Mike, most teachers, instructors spend all those years keeping your hand behind the ball before the release point. Now, if you watch Gil Sliker, he's been a great bowler for many years. He almost starts on the side of the ball and finishes in the same spot.
He does, and again, it's not what most teachers recommend. One of the reasons is if your hand is behind the ball as it's coming forward, it's actually closer to your ankle as it comes forward, and then you turn to get to the side of the ball as it gets past your leg there. Gil starts, as we can see right here, with his hand on the side of the ball, but he makes it work for him. Now he's on the side as he lets it go. Pretty good results, though, Denny.
That's why he's been utilizing that particular style for all these years. Both players relaxing just a little bit. They're both out of the gate. George Branham III leads by 1, so don't go away.
Where's everybody going?
Why, they're all headed to Clearview Lanes in Hennigan's for their old-fashioned days.
Old-fashioned days?
That's right. On Saturday and Sunday, August 8th and 9th, you can enjoy the prices of the good old days at Clearview Lanes. Bowl for 50 cents a game, and get hot dogs and a Coke for 50 cents each.
What a great deal.
It sure is, but you better hurry. Old-fashioned days is for 2 days only, August 8th and 9th, at Hennigan's in Clearview Lanes, Route 230 in Mount Joy.
This weekend on Warner Cable.
Double Trouble, Saturday on USA. You'll double over with laughter. It's comedy shorts, your favorite videos, music, and more on Night Flight. And Sunday,
I think you'll find that when we say private, we mean that the bathroom's not open to the general public.
the bathroom's not, but the movie is. There's Trouble in Paradise at Club Paradise on HBO. Night Flight, Club Paradise, Double Trouble, this weekend.
24-year-old George Branham III leading by 1. He's working on a double and shooting now in the 4th frame opening game.
Branham III looking for 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm. Got Parker Bohn III. We got 2/3 on the show tonight.
We need a shortstop in the second base.
I was going to say. Boy, you know, he has averaged, Mike, 233 en route to winning those 7 games on national television. Those are some big-time numbers.
I'll tell you what, when he bowled earlier this year, as we see the scoreboard there, and Branham up by 11, and he just was wired in for 4 games out in the AC Delco tournament, just like this, through every shot like this, right over the second arrow, swinging out to about the 7th, 8th board, and the ball just finishes dead flush. Nothing could stand there except maybe a solid 8.
Well, he leads by 11 at this stage and looking for more.
He gave that one too much room without the fingers. A little light for Gil Sliker, leaves the 2-pin. The other thing we might mention is in practice, George Branham III left a couple of pocket 7-10s on the left lane, on lane 45. I don't want to wish him any ill will, but
that was a hit, not a common occurrence this week at Thruway Lanes, but I did see a couple of them here and there.
And we saw that hit destroyed Ron Palumbi Jr. last week.
So a spare up for George Branham III in the 5th. And now it's back to Gil Sliker to go to work. Sliker trails by 10, but could erase that deficit with a strike here.
Right, big shot for Gil emotionally right now. You know, he left that soft 10 in the 3rd frame. He's down by 10, and he has his opportunity right now to put some pressure on George Branham. Let's see how he responds to this moment. Perfect.
Well, Gil had to shoot a nice game last night in the position round just to solidify himself on the telecast this evening.
And he got it open early in the game and came back with 6 in a row. And you see the nice free swing of Gil Sliker. The follow-through outside the shoulder a little bit. Dead flush in the pocket. Now, in match play competition, Dan, right now is an important psychological point. He's gotten a strike to get himself even the match. You want to put some onus on your opponent. And if he can strike now to go ahead, his opponent knows he's in for a dogfight. And he really didn't throw that one that well. It didn't look like he gave it a little more room as we see his parents looking on. Roll back just dead flush.
Alice and Roy Sliker on hand to watch their son this evening.
And they're saying, hey, we want to see him win his first title tonight. Of course, he's got a long way to go.
His first singles title. Now, you did team with him in 1983 to win the doubles out at the Showboat.
And when we did that, I rode him all the way. Had my spurs in deep and the whip going.
Branham to answer the call. Gives it a lot of room. Shakes him around a little bit. But a stubborn 7-pin stands.
See, that's Branham, when he got up there the last time on that lane, he just freewheeled it out and he came in. Now he's trailing by 10 pins. Sometimes you don't throw the ball quite the same.
Now keep in mind, too, George averaged 242 on the television pair here at Thruway Lanes.
Had trouble, huh?
Yep. Well, you got to be impressed with him. He's a very athletic bowler, very strong player, has great legs, and you can just see that this guy's a tremendous competitor.
And he's got a great smile.
Oh, he does.
We may not get to see it tonight, but he has a marvelous smile.
Boy, he does. Magic Johnson smile all the way. One of those infectious smiles. Really enjoys his bowling, but boy, he's serious about it now. Of course, he's the defending champion in the Brunswick Memorial World Open. Beat Mark Roth there last year for the title, and that's not easy.
Well, anytime you beat Mark Roth, you know you earned it.
Oh, brother, you're not kidding. And, of course, Mark is in game number 2 here tonight. Yeah, there's a light hit with a little help. So Branham shakes him loose on the left-hand lane to give himself a strike in the 7th. But at this point in time, Gil Sliker pondering his future. He leads by 11.
Nobody's body's like your body. Foot Locker, got the shoes for your body. Come see the latest and the greatest. Foot Locker, #1 for your body. In the gym or on the corner on the street, the Foot Locker pros got it right for your feet. Serious. Get it right for your body. Come to the stripes. Foot Locker, come to the stripes. Why put them on top? They're already in there. Strawberry in the middle. Get them strawberry squares. There's strawberry in the middle. You get them strawberry squares. You never have to slide them on top, 'cause we wrap whole wheat around the bigger crop. There's strawberry in the middle. Get them strawberry squares. Why put them on the top when they're already in there? Strawberry in the middle. Get them strawberry squares.
From tee to green, television's best golf coverage is on ESPN. The greatest tournaments, including Grand Slam events, the U.S. Open, British Open, and the PGA Championship. Outstanding PGA Tour, LPGA, and Senior PGA Tour golfers, featuring Jack Nicklaus, Pat Bradley, and Arnold Palmer. ESPN's live coverage from the world's most spectacular courses brings you closer than ever to the players and the action. The very best is par for the course on ESPN.
And the Sliker contingent all smiles at this point, rightfully so. Their son leads by 11 pins, and he is working on a turkey here in the 7th.
Better keep striking, though, because Branham is dangerous.
And the Good Guy Award, 1978 Steve Nagy Sportsmanship Award recipient. One of the nicest players on the tour.
I'm surprised he didn't win it more years.
Yep.
There it is, the mistake that has haunted Gil throughout his television career. He makes that mistake somewhere in the match. After the commercial, gets the ball away from his ankle, points it, and it hooks too quickly. That was not the lane, that was Gil.
Well, now he'll have to make do, pick up the 2 pins for the count as he snarls at that split. And he'll have to go on his merry way and head to the 8th frame, down by 5 pins. So it's an unforced error, I guess, Mike.
Exactly right, Dan. And right now, George Branham has just had new adrenaline and new life pumped into him sitting on the bench as he's taken the lead by sitting on the bench.
Branham, of course, working on a strike in the 7th. Now Gil Sliker has to regroup, circle the wagons, and come up with a good shot on lane 45.
Very important to come right back with a strike right here. See, the shot is there. It's the concentration. I mean, you've got to be able to do it on every shot. Unfortunately, the competition is so severe out here that you can't afford that one mistake.
You know, Gil has also won several regional titles. He knows how to win, but I think it's become more of a mental thing with him than anything else. Much the same probably with Ernie Schlegel, who spent all those years bowling so well on the national tour and just couldn't win a title.
Well, Pete McCordick also.
Exactly. So it's not just him. Branham III with a swisher of a shot on lane 46. So a key double in the late going there. You see Gil Sliker wondering, well, if I just hadn't have made that mistake in the 7th.
Down 14 pins now. Sliker up Branham. Branham going at a 228 pace right now. Can strike all the way out for 258. The best Sliker can get, as we see the scoreboard, is 244. So it's still anybody's ball game, but Branham is definitely in what they say the catbird seat.
He's normally taken advantage of it, especially on television. Gil Sliker looking off into the distance and checking the telescore to find out exactly what George Branham can post.
Oh, life for Sliker, a solid 10.
Oh, and you could just see the shoulders slump for George Branham III. He knew he threw a heck of a shot there.
Well, the thing is, the fact that he did not strike here is he throws the ball right over, in fact, a little left of that second arrow there, swings out to about the 8th board. We watch the 6-pin, second from the right, whistle right around that 10. Sliker now can strike out and lock out Branham. Branham going cross lane at the 10-pin. Sliker has asked for a re-rack. Branham stuck a little bit.
Little tiptoe approach there on the left-hand lane to pick up the 10-pin. First re-rack of the match on lane 46 for Gil Sliker, who obviously now is in control of his own destiny.
That's right. And this is what it's all about on the PBA Tour. What separates the ones that really make the money from the ones who don't is the guys that can get up in this 9th and 10th frame and control their emotions and what's going on inside the heartbeat and strike. Same mistake he made the time before, the identical shot. Just the feet got fast, arm swing got away from the body. You just don't win matches making mistakes like that.
Boy, that looked exactly like the same shot in the 7th frame. And for Gil Sliker, who didn't have a commanding lead, but certainly was in a position where he could win the opening match, things have not worked out the way he would have hoped. He's just not been able to make the shots on the right-hand lane the last 2 tries.
Well, he's down 25 pins. He can strike out for 212, which would force Branham to at least show up for the 10th frame and to avoid getting a 7-pin split.
You know, Gil stuck, or I should say he struck, what, twice on the left-hand lane? Or the right-hand lane, rather?
Mm-hmm. Struck in the 1st frame there, and he struck in the 5th frame.
And then threw 2 splits in the 7th and the 9th. Boy, how quickly it changes. It's amazing. He's thrown some absolutely perfect, pure shots, and then he's thrown some shots that I know he'd like to have back.
Well, if he strikes out here, he's going to wind up with 9 strikes, Dan.
For 212.
Mm-hmm. When you start playing tit-tat-toe, though, and you get those X's and circles, even though the X's may win, those circles take their toll.
Yeah, they'll come back to get you. Boy, 9 strikes. So it's up to Gil Sliker to try and strike out. Give himself any chance whatsoever.
Well, remember last week when we watched Dennis Jakes, who was wired on that right lane, throw double pinochle in the 10th frame, and the Weber contingent of Weber and McDowell went all the way to the championship match. So you never know. But Gil, right now, if he'd got a spare in either one of those 2 frames, would still right in this match.
Winner of this match moves on, and the loser takes home a check for $4,000. Left-hand lane's been a good one for Gil Sliker.
Struck every time on it.
Yep. Could be 7 for 7, but it's maybe not going to be enough. That one skids a little further, gets a little help from the 5, and swishes the 7 out. So Gil Sliker with a bit of an ironic game. Some great shots and some bad shots.
And right now, George Branham needs to, he can open in the 10th frame and still win, but if he gets a 7-pin split, well, he could still wind up with a tie or lose. Well, that's the best kind of mark.
Yep, not much doubt about that shot as Gil Sliker realizes once again that ever elusive first career PBA singles title has once again eluded him.
The elusive is eluded, huh?
Mm-hmm. Boy, it's amazing. What an excellent player he is. Guy's won over $500,000 out here, still without a title. Meanwhile, George Branham III in a situation where he is going to 8-0. This guy's starting like the Milwaukee Brewers, huh?
Yeah.
What, they win 13 in a row this year?
And isn't it interesting that Sliker beat him 9-6 in strikes and loses the match by 15 pins.
Well, spares are an integral part of the game, Mike.
Well, they say if you don't knock them all down with the first ball, you got to do it with the second. Reducing the game to its simplest form.
And that's exactly what George Branham III did. No opens for him as he comes up a 227-212 winner over Gil Sliker. And so George Branham III will advance, and he'll match up against Hall of Famer Mark Roth in game number 2 here at the Greater Buffalo Open. Don't forget, coming up next, this week's edition of the Bowling News. So stay tuned.
For all that you do.
Today a landscaper, tomorrow a college student.
Yep. Finally took your advice, Mike.
You taught him.
Already you're smart.
All you knew. They say he's a lot like you. Yeah, you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
To a future architect. And to a brother who made it possible.
This bud's for you.
Columbia 300 knows that all bowlers are not created equal. That's why Columbia 300 has spent years in research just to have the right ball for you. If you need less weight, the light dot. Drier lanes, the white dot. The perfect all-around ball, the world-famous yellow dot. If you're ready for urethane, the Columbia 300 U dot. The wine U dot for normal conditions, and the new black U dot when you want more curve. Columbia 300 sold only in lanes and pro shops.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Bowling News. With the 1988 Summer Olympics just around the corner, Team USA qualifying regionals have been completed, and now here's a look at some of the leading finalists from throughout the United States. And from the 70 qualifiers will emerge the team that will be representing the United States in various international competitions, including the 1988 Summer Olympic Games from Seoul, South Korea. One of those prestigious events is currently being contested at Cloverleaf Lanes down in Miami. Bowlers from 25 countries are participating, and heading up the list at this point in time is Dan Nadeau, adding yet another gold medal to his trophy case, while veteran Ashi Gonzalez of Puerto Rico captured the women's singles championship. Betty Morris of Stockton, California has to be on cloud 9. After all, Betty has captured back-to-back LPBT titles right here on ESPN. And the third time may be the charm. She is currently leading the Metroplex Open down in DeSoto, Texas. She may win 3 in a row. Outstanding achievement for a terrific bowler. Just 2 weeks ago, the talented right-hander won 4 consecutive matches en route to taking Lake Charles by storm. And then, of course, last week down in Houston, she returned right to the winner's circle. As a result, she has now been selected by the Bowling Writers Association of America as the Bowler of the Month for July. And it's never too early to start thinking about Bowler of the Year. Right, Betty? Show business legend Jerry Lewis will do practically anything for his kids. And when he can combine raising funds for muscular dystrophy and testing his bowling talents as well, we're all in for luck. Just a couple of weeks ago at Deer Creek Lanes in Rancho Cucamonga, California, Jerry pulled out all the stops, posting a super score of 196. Now, that may not sound like anything extraordinary, but considering the fact that through the Brunswick Corporation, $1,000 per pin was pledged, well, that made the game worth a record $196,000. Throughout the past 25 years, the PBA Tour has certainly seen its fair share of colorful characters. Our man Jim Duff crossed over the color spectrum this past week to interview professional bowling's Rainbow Trout. That's right, Guppy Troop.
I wanted to be different, and I wanted to be remembered.
And John Douglas Troop is both different and easy to remember. Of course, you know him better as Guppy Troop, that 37-year-old breath of fresh air who parades around bowling alleys looking like a cross between a beatnik and a 60s flower child. There are the shoes and the colorful pants and the ever-present gold jewelry, and the dark sunglasses. Add it all up, and you quickly realize this is one Guppy who loves being in the fishbowl of fan and media attention.
I think I class myself as a showman. I mean, I want to give people something to watch when they come into the bowling center. I used to watch the tour in the early 60s, and they were not really that flamboyant. You know, they'd throw their bowling ball, turn around, and sit down. And I wanted, you know, I want to give the people something to watch besides that. I have antics on the lanes, all kinds of yelling, screaming, slapping my hands together. I never know what I'm going to do sometimes.
Guppy Troop, on the other hand, out of Neptune Beach, Florida, well, he's got other things to worry about. Not ball selection, not which lane to start or finish on. He's got to figure out what pair of pants to wear on tonight's telecast.
Of all his many quirks, probably none stand out as much as the pants. Looking like something that a bunch of 5-year-olds finger painted, these pants are to Guppy Troop what Clydesdales are to beer. He has a total of 8 pair and began wearing them on the PBA Tour years ago just to liven things up. Nowadays, Guppy and his pants are fan favorites, and though his clothes may not be endorsed by the folks at Gucci or Calvin Klein, this man is proud of the bizarre fashion he brings to the world of bowling. Call it Guppy Wear by Guppy Troop.
Is that the way you look?
And this, folks, if you were watching in 1980, I won the Waukegan, Illinois Open in these. Little red here, nice pockets in the back, and best outfit you can get this time of year.
No, I mean, is that the way you really look? Yeah.
And these I call in my morning clothes. I bowled bad on television one time, shot about 130. I don't wear them anymore, but they're great if you want to wear them out at night. You can blend right into the darkness and nobody will see you.
All those are the clothes you wear.
And this, folks, is Guppy Troop's most famous outfit. I won 2 other beer tournaments in it, and in 1984 I won the Budweiser Open in Columbus, Ohio. So this is the best that I own, the best elite outfit that Guppy Troop has in his whole stock. My agents told me a lot that I should wear them out in public all the time because a lot of people don't know what I look like because they're only looking at the pants. And if I wore pants out to eat dinner more often, you know, that people might remember me that way.
Sure, yeah. Who knows, you'll be on one of those American Express card commercials.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
don't know me because I don't have my pants on.
And he says, all right. Despite his carefree demeanor, there is a serious side here. In his 12 years on the PBA Tour, Guppy has won 8 titles and hundreds of thousands of dollars. He even has his own business, Guppy Enterprises, headquartered in the appropriately named city of Neptune Beach, Florida. But most of all, he has himself. The colorful shoes, the outrageous pants, enough gold to make Mr. T envious, and enough talent and personality to make it all work. As he likes to say,
it's fun being Guppy Troop.
And it's even more fun to watch him. For win or lose, you can be sure fans everywhere are asking that burning question,
is that the way you look? Is that the way you look? Is that the way you look? Is that really the way that you look now? Oh, darling, darling, is that the way you look?
And coming up next is the rematch of the Brunswick Memorial World Open from a year ago. George Branham III and Mark Roth. So stay tuned. We're here in Buffalo.
I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called Not So Great Moments in Sports. Like one scene is where Billy Martin tries to give an ump a shoe shine.
That's a fantastic video. My favorite part is where John McEnroe plays tennis with his orange juice.
I hear there's a scene where Reggie Jackson protests a Gaylord Perry spitball with a visual aid.
Yeah. I love it where a kicker tries to play quarterback. Not So Great Moments is 45 minutes of the funniest sports footage I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No, it's not in video stores yet.
Now what do I do?
You get it free.
Let me understand. You don't have the video, but you're going to tell me how to get it free.
Right.
Am I missing something?
You're missing out on Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated? I love that side. What does Sports Illustrated have to do with it?
You get not-so-great moments in sports free with your paid subscription.
Oh, I let my subscription run out.
Well, now's a perfect time to go for it again. You get 25 weeks of America's best sports coverage, including the Pro Football Spectacular with all the picks, previews, and profiles, and a beautiful swimsuit issue.
I like that.
Everybody likes that. You even get a handy NFL schedule.
And not-so-great moments in sports?
You get it all.
I do? How?
Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number.
Wait a minute. All that great footage has got to be worth a fortune.
I ought to know.
Yeah, I'll bet they raised the price of the magazine, right?
It's over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 installments of $9.89 each. You can even put it on a credit card.
No kidding. I get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Spectacular, the football schedule, the swimsuit issue, and the video cassette free.
You get it all.
Just call 1-800-621-7000.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-621-7000.
Hi. Have you heard of not-so-great moments in sports?
Where else could you see Tom Watson, Jack Nicklaus, and Arnold Palmer all play in the same threesome? Well, you'll see it tomorrow on ESPN. Live coverage of the PGA Championship. Live and first and second round coverage, of course, beginning at 12 o'clock, running until 2, and then 4 to 6 Eastern Daylight Time, both days, Thursday and Friday. So the 69th PGA Championship up for grabs down in Florida. And there you see the contestants for match number 2. PBA Hall of Famer Mark Roth and the upstart George Branham III. Do you think Mark is thinking back to that Brunswick Memorial World Open?
I don't know if Mark is, but I think George is definitely thinking back to it.
Well, he has now won 8 consecutive matches on national television, and when will it end? Perhaps not until later on this evening, perhaps not for another year or 2.
Got a little fast, not enough lift with the fingers. The ball sailed on him. See him put his palm down like that means slow down.
Boy, and you can tell George Branham III would just love to get off and out of the gates in a hurry against Mark Roth.
Well, we'll see how Roth does with this right-hand lane. Actually, Dan, you know, even though Sliker went high in the right lane twice, the right lane is the tighter of the 2 lanes by a couple of boards for both the left and right-handed players.
Gil stopped up to the booth after that opening match loss and said that didn't feel like he threw too bad a shot in the 7th, but the one in the 9th was definitely not a good shot for him.
Yeah, he said he broke all track records getting into the foul line on that shot. So.
And here you see a man who has gotten to the foul line in just tremendous form for many, many years. 32 career titles, and there you see his average on the television pair, not too shabby.
Well, we see who the crowd is for.
You know, it's amazing, Mike, as you get a little older and those titles start to build up, you start to draw a few more fans.
And the old 6 or 7 step approach, depending on how he feels, as he whips it out over that second arrow. The ball actually hits weak here, and the 6-pin goes into the channel and just gives it a little love tap.
And there you see Mark looking for more. How about it? Oh, a little kick there. That's a little Elvis move, huh? Gets a little help. Roth looks for the opening double. Oh, that's an instant replay shot. But what does Mark Roth know that the rest of us don't?
Well, when you get one of these, you're usually very fortunate. When you get 2 in a row, as the ball hits weak again, and it gets that same love tap, an instant replay, definitely.
Well, he's in love with that 6-pin, huh?
Right, this blame 45 instead of 46.
A long-lasting relationship, huh? George Branham III trying to fire back. Oh, my, just shredded the rack on the right-hand lane.
With today's bowling balls on these urethane finishes, those pins are no match for today's power players. So when they come in light like that, boy, that 5-pin goes out of there in a hurry.
We've talked about this before. Is the light hit the best hit in bowling right now? The highest percentage hit?
I believe it is. I really do, especially for guys that roll the ball like these 2 players. You hit that solid hit, you can leave a lot of solid 8s, 10s, 7s. That light hit is a high percentage hit.
George Branham III hoping for a double. This one slices through the nose. Almost gets a little help, but it's split time on lane 45.
And as we said, the left lane hooks a little bit more. And Branham, it's only the third frame, is in danger of losing his first game on television already. Down in the game already. It opens here. Roth could be off in a big hurry.
Well, I'm certain he'll give this one a run. Almost dancing out of the back end. Well, Mark Roth steps up with a double and leads by 22, and he would love to extend that lead in the early stages of match number 2 here in the $115,000 Greater Buffalo Open, week number 10 of the PBA Tour on ESPN. Well, looked like he gave that the Tug LaRue that time. Little tug shot to the left.
You noticed that, huh? The old 6 or 7 step. I don't know how many he's taking this time, but watch the backswing. Used to be real high. Now, well, just about to the top of his head. The deep knee bend. Look at that right knee bend. Watch the follow through. He comes up, but after the ball is gone. Left arm out, similar to Walter Ray Williams. And Roth, who's off with 3 in a row.
Well, Mark Roth has 4 in a row, and he is heading for more here in Buffalo. Fans are loving it. He leads by 42, but still a lot of work left for Mark Roth.
Man, look at that tarpon jump. There's nothing like it. And there's nothing like Genesee beer. It's always crisp and consistent because it's brewed in just one place. All natural Genesee. The best catch I know.
The great outdoors in a glass. Genesee beer.
Light or not, it is a very, very good beer. It's got a lot of flavor. It's got great taste. Genesee has kept the flavor and they've kept the taste in a light beer. Genesee Light. It's unbelievable.
4-4.
Coming this fall to ESPN. The best of the NFL. From preseason contests to 8 Sunday night clashes and the season finale Pro Bowl, you'll see it all live on ESPN. From start to finish this year, pro football duels here on the exclusive cable home of the NFL, ESPN.
The pressure's on in the LPBT Summer Tour. Watch exclusive coverage of the best women bowlers Monday afternoons at 4 Eastern, live on ESPN.
And just around the corner on ESPN, it's the Breeders' Crown Championship Harness Racing Series every Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, starting this coming Friday, August the 7th, until November 13th. ESPN has exclusive live coverage, including the final from Pompano Beach, Florida. There you see George Branham III studying the telescore here at Thruway Lanes, and if his mathematics don't fail him, he knows he trails by 42.
And he knows he's bowling the greatest right-hander in the game right now, so, well, maybe not today, but over the last number of years.
But as you've told me many, many, many times, you got to throw one shot at a time.
Well, Branham can definitely strike. There's no doubt about that. He better start pretty quick here if he doesn't want to be buried.
George, this week, averaging 221.1. Started the position round game last night in 6th position. Bowled an excellent game just to survive to get here this evening. He's already defeated Gil Sliker tonight. Needs a double desperately. How about some help? Oh, there was a cave-in on lane 45.
I thought that pin was going to interfere, but he got it.
Well, let's take a look at that one, huh?
And we're going to watch the head pin go to the sideboard. Watch that head pin. It goes to the sideboard. We can't see it gets in the way. The 6 pin is laying there, but it had enough power to hit both of them and knock it over. Roth with 4 in a row, looking for number 5.
Little hop, skip, and a jump from George Branham III. Mark Roth loads up and heads to the line. got 5 in a row, and Mark Roth, I know, had a chat with you before the telecast this evening, Mike.
And he told me that if he shot 300 out here tonight, as he was just striking at will in practice, that he would bowl the next game left-handed.
Well, we'll see if, first of all, he could shoot 300, and second of all, if he would dare bowl left-handed. I think Parker Bohn III would be licking his chops. Boy, watch this guy load up here. Fingers go in first. Look at that thumb with all the patches. Boy, the mileage that thumb has been through. 32 PBA titles and 5 times a George Young Memorial Average winner. Rips it on the right or left-hand lane. Got some more help, and Roth has started with the first 6, and he means business.
He's thinking about it already, Dan. 300 is in his mind right now.
Wow.
And it's in the crowd's mind, I'll tell you what.
Well, this house has had a history of 300 games. We had 4 this week, including 1 tossed by tournament leader Chris Warren. George Branham fighting for his life at this point, strikes in the 6th, but nevertheless, that turkey just brings him back to trailing by 42 pins. You know, back in 1979 here at Thruway Lanes, Joe Berardi shot 300 during the championship finals. Only it was lanes 47 and 48, right next door to the television pair here.
At that particular time, our telecast, we only have 1 game on, so he bowled it before that game went on the air.
That's a tough break indeed. It cost him a few dollars and cents, but nevertheless, Joey, I'm sure will never forget that.
Cut it to 32 if he can get 1 more. And not the lift. You see, he got that ball down a little sooner. He just, a little bit of a lose that time. Soft 10 the result. Right now, though, the issue of this game is not so much I don't want to be redundant, but it's not so much the issue. What everybody's thinking about here is this Roth going to keep the string going? Uh-oh. Well, lapse in concentration this time by Branham. We saw it by Sliker twice last game.
Well, it's easy to get sidetracked and start thinking about Mark Roth. And boy, does he take any time at all? No way. Grabs it off the rack, stands up, and gets ready for shot number 7.
And it doesn't matter how important the shot is, he always reacts that way. He's anxious to get there and throw the ball. Look at it come.
Oh, boy. Roth has got him riled up here at Cheektowaga, New York. And the fans are loving every bit of it. How about this, Mike? Should Mark Roth end up with a 300 game this evening and win $25,000 from the good folks at True Value Hardware and the prize money, no matter where he finishes, he would become the all-time leading money winner in PBA history.
Oh, you're on the ball tonight, Denny.
Oh, my goodness. He trails Earl Anthony by a fraction more than 28,000, but boy, oh boy, things could turn around here this evening.
And for 8 in a row now, he's giving it more room each shot.
Well, I got my fingers crossed. Well, we're just 4 strikes away from perhaps a little history. 8 in a row for Mr. Mark Roth, who towels himself off a little bit. And right now, George Branham III is just trying to get out of the way.
Exactly right. He just wants to say, hey, I want to throw 2 strikes and sit down and watch.
As he shreds the rack on lane 46, there you see Mark Roth. Look at the determination on his face. He's pumped up.
And I told you, he was thinking about it 3 frames ago.
Wow. As Mike mentioned, he was striking at will in practice, and I think he had a feeling he had a pretty good shot here on the television pair.
Well, the thing is, Dan, he started off a little shaky with those 2 love taps, but since then, he's been throwing the ball better every shot. And George says, oh, there's nothing to this game. But I've run into a buzzsaw.
Well, Mark Roth came very close to shooting 300 one other time on national television.
1975 in Kansas City when he won his first PBA tournament. He had 299 left to just a ringing 4 in the 12th shot.
And flipped on the right-hand lane, and Roth has got himself to the 10th frame, Mike Durbin.
And this crowd is just alive. Denny, if he keeps it going in the 10th frame, watch the crowd. The excitement go up on each shot, and the volume, the decibels go up on each shot. right over the second arrow, swings it wide to about the 7th board. Watch the 7-pin. It's the last one down. Just nudged it twice.
Now we're here in the 10th. It is quiet at Thruway Lanes.
Number 10, Pete McCordick did it earlier this year on the Winter Tour in Torrance, California. And now Mark Roth trying to become the 5th player in PBA history to shoot 300.
And, you know, we've commented how much more relaxed, and we were teasing him before the show. Where's the intensity, Mark? Well, we're seeing the intensity that led to 32 PBA titles right here.
Well, he's had 23 career 300 games. How about 24?
And he becomes the all-time leading money winner. Boy, you couldn't write a better script, Mike Durbin.
Denny, I don't know how nervous you are. I know my heart's just beating a mile a minute right now.
And Mark waves to the crowd and says, hey, calm down. I got one more shot here. Just relax. Let me get things in order. True professional. Boy, he's been there so many times. Takes a nice deep breath. Going to try and create a little history here this evening.
Let's see what happens.
Gets the high five, and Mike Durbin, you can't come any closer than that to a El Perfecto.
He was looking for that love tap one more time, but this time the 6-pin wouldn't kiss him.
Oh, my goodness. Roth gave it a run for the money, $25,000 worth. Came up one stick short. Stay tuned. Still more bowling to come.
It was a quiet night until the party animal came to town.
There's a super party animal. Hey. His name is Bud McKenzie. A red hot nut and a cold Bud Light put them in a party frenzy.
He's Bud McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Go Bud! Go Bud! Whoa, yeah!
Bud, don't be a stranger.
Get it right. Get it right, get it right, get it right. Get it right. Nobody's body's like your body. Foot Locker, got the shoes for your body. Get it right. Come see the latest and the greatest. Foot Locker, #1 for your body. In the gym or on the corner on the street. The Foot Locker pros got it right for your feet. Serious. Get it right for your body. Come to the stripes. Foot Locker, come to the stripes.
And there you see Chris Warren taking a couple of practice shots. The top seed gets to come over after the second game to the television pair and get a chance to loosen up a little bit. Before that, though, let's take a look at the 12th and final shot in what could have been a 300 game and $25,000 from True Value Hardware. Good shot. Mark starts to run it out. Realizes it's a little thin. How about some help? He says, where's the 6-pin? He got 2 love taps early in the game, and this time it's a sullen 6-pin that costs him $25,000. The acrobatic moves of Mark Roth, who with 23 300 games certainly knows how to throw a great shot in the 12th. Unfortunately, not going to happen here this evening. 299 to 202, and we'll just have to wait and see what else unfolds. Don't forget, coming up next, Mike Durbin's Average Builders.
When it comes to do-it-yourself projects, rely on True Value Hardware Store's professional quality master mechanic tools and their customer guarantee.
The 7 1/4-inch circular saw is just $39.99, and the 1/3 horsepower jigsaw is only $36.50. Get 3 standard socket sets, 45 pieces, for just $29.99, and the master mechanic 5-gallon wet-dry vac for only $37.99, exclusively at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
James Bond is back. Dennis Cunningham of CBS TV calls it vintage Bond, splendid fun, hugely entertaining. Vernon Scott, UPI, calls Timothy Dalton the perfect James Bond. The most exciting Bond film in years. It will take your breath away, says Jeffrey Lyons of Sneak Previews and INN. The Living Daylights, rated PG, now playing. Check newspapers for a theater near you.
Over the course of the summer, on our ESPN telecast, we've seen a lot of different styles and deliveries. Tonight, I want to talk about what the ingredients are that make up a good finish, at least in my opinion. What are the proper ingredients that will give me an on-balance finish in which I'm enabled to hit my target and put something on the ball? Well, let's look at it tonight. You have to remember that when we talk about a finish, that we actually are talking about at the end of the next to the last step. In a 4-step delivery, this would be at the end of the 3rd step. And at the end of the 3rd step, my ball has reached the peak of my backswing, however high that naturally is. And at this point, what I want to think about is I want to think bend the knee, and I mean bend the right knee. As I bend the right knee, my left toe is still on the ground from the end of my 2nd step, and I push that forward into a nice long slide. That slide ends right underneath my chin to keep me in balance. If I put it underneath my left shoulder, I would fall off balance to the right. At this point, my left arm is pointing toward the opposite wall. My eyes and head are level with my eyes right on my target. My follow-through is going to go straight up toward the ceiling, and my back is at about a 45-degree plane, and that's what the finish position looks like right about there. Now, you remember, you bend the knee, you push the slide, the left arm is out for balance, the back is at about a 45-degree angle, the head is level and still with the eyes on the target, and the follow-through reaches straight up toward the ceiling. Now I'm going to see if I can put all this theory into practice and see if I can deliver it the way that I've just taught you. You watch me and check me on the different points. Here we go, ready to go. There you have it. Those are the ingredients that make up a good, on-balance finish position. And if you will practice them, I can promise you that your average will go up. We'll see you again next week.
And upcoming tournaments on ESPN next week. We'll be up in Windsor, Ontario, Canada for the finals of the Molson Golden Bowling Challenge. And, of course, wrap up the PBA Summer Tour on ESPN with the Ebonite PBA Senior Championship from Canton, Ohio on August 19th. Both of those shows beginning at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on ESPN. Well, we've certainly had our share of excitement already here this evening in the first couple of games. And standing by now with my partner Mike Durbin is the young gentleman who hopefully will provide even more fireworks in the title game. That's, of course, the top seed, Chris Warren. Michael?
Thank you very much, Denny. And with me is Chris Warren, who had a 300 game of his own this week. And Chris, that was a pretty exciting match, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, that was a very exciting match. I really thought Mark would really shoot 300 when he got the 11th one because he is a good pressure player.
Chris, you come from a bowling family. Where's your family tonight, and what are they doing?
They're all over at my brother Butch's house, and they're hopefully going to celebrate a win tonight.
Chris, are you the best bowler in the family?
Well, yeah, I would say I'm the best, but my little brother is really a good bowler, too. My little brother, Andy, he's really can bowl really well. He's left-handed, and we finished second in PBA doubles regional tournament one year, the first year that we bowled together.
Chris, you had a so-so career, pretty good in the regionals, and all of a sudden 3 weeks ago you finished third. This week you're leading the tournament. What's the difference? Why is Chris Warren bowling so well right now?
Well, thanks to Billy Hall and some of the guys at the PBSC, which is Pro Bowler Service Corporation, they helped me out with my release. My release, I was hanging on to the ball just a little too long, and if I could get out of the ball just a little bit quicker and get it into a more heavy of a roll, that I would have more pin carry. And that's basically what I've done is I've slowed down my feet, changed my trajectory, you know, to learn to roll the ball a little bit more instead of twisting so hard on the ball. So it improved my pin carry quite a bit.
You got one game to bowl out here right now. You might have to bowl Mark Roth, who's a living legend. Are you intimidated at all?
No, I grew up watching Mark Bowl and Marshall Holman, and, you know, these guys are good bowlers, but, you know, I think that I'm the caliber of talent that they are and that I want to win as much as they do, so I think I have a good chance of winning.
Well, he says that if he has to shoot 300 to beat Roth, he's ready to do it, Denny. We'll see what happens.
And we came about as close as you can come to a perfect game just a couple of moments ago. We'll have to see if Mark Roth can summon up the courage to bowl yet another game here at Thruway Lanes. Mark Roth and Parker Bohn III will bowl the semifinal match. The winner, of course, will head on to the championship game against Chris Warren.
Hi. I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called Not So Great Moments in Sports. Like one scene is where Billy Martin tries to give an ump a shoe shine.
That's a fantastic video. My favorite part is where John McEnroe plays tennis with his orange juice.
I hear there's a scene where Reggie Jackson protests the Gaylord Perry spitball with a visual aid.
Yeah. I love it where a kicker tries to play quarterback. Not So Great Moments is 45 minutes of the funniest sports footage I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No, it's not in video stores yet.
Now what do I do?
You get it free.
Let me understand. You don't have the video, but you're going to tell me how to get it free.
Right.
Am I missing something?
You're missing out on Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated? I love SI. What does Sports Illustrated have to do with it?
You get Not So Great Moments in Sports free with your paid subscription.
Oh, I let my subscription run out.
Well, now's a perfect time to go for it again. You get 25 weeks of America's best sports coverage, including the Pro Football Spectacular with all the picks, previews, and profiles, and the beautiful swimsuit issue.
I like that.
Everybody likes that. You even get a handy NFL schedule.
And Not So Great Moments in Sports?
You get it all.
I do. How?
Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number.
Wait a minute. All that great footage has got to be worth a fortune.
I ought to know.
Yeah, I'll bet they raised the price of the magazine, right?
It's over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 installments of $9.89 each. You can even put it on a credit card.
No kidding. I get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Spectacular, the football schedule, the swimsuit issue, and the video cassette free.
You get it all. Just call 1-800-621-7000.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-621-7000. Hi. Have you heard of Not So Great Moments in Sports?
And it won't be long before those top spin serves start hitting. Volvo International Tennis Championships, Stratton Mountain, Vermont. Semifinals will be broadcast Saturday at noon, and then the final Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. One of the major preparations for the U.S. Open to be played a few weeks later in New York on the same hard court surface. So it's a bit of a practice round, I would guess, for some of the top players in the world. Well, there you see Mark Roth and Parker Bohn III. What's going through Mark Roth's mind, Mike Durbin? He has to come back down from the near-perfect 300 game.
Hard to do. When McCordy shot his 300 game earlier this year, he was unable to do it. He lost the next game, and he bowled Mats Carlson. Carlson went on to win the tournament.
Mark Roth will have to try and strike on lane 45, the lane that eluded him on the 12th and final shot. See how easy it is when it's not for $25,000, Mike?
Well, even though that was for $25,000, it was for the money lead.
Oh, it was for everything.
It was for a place in history, in bowling history. It just,
I mean, he's already shot $299. Now he's got a pair of them. First look at Parker Bohn III, and Parker Bohn says, Mark, I know you just shot $299, but I got a little work of my own cut out here. There you see Parker Bohn III, who won earlier this year. 225.78, not too shabby there. High game of 280. He may need that here this evening.
And he was leading going into the last 8 games by 150 pins, shot about 270 over, and dropped over 140 pins out of the lead. That's how well Chris Warren bowled those last 8 games.
He averaged 260 last night, Chris Warren did, to surpass Parker Bohn III. He is a steady, solid customer. This youngster from Freehold, New Jersey, comes right out of the gate and says, take that.
I'll tell you, Dan, you've got the youth, you've got the experience, but these young kids coming out are different than I was when I came out. They're not intimidated. They're not afraid. Well,
let's see. Mark Roth is 12 out of 13 in the strike department. Will the saga continue? Well, Mark Roth has never won this tournament, finished second here in 1983, has finished in the top 5 on 4 other occasions, so he would dearly love to win this Buffalo tournament. Of course, it's in his home state.
And, you know, and he hasn't won since 1984, and it isn't that he hasn't bowled well. He's had some big games shot against him.
The thing that is so amazing, you realize what a great player this guy is, and he's still, through all the years, he's been over, I think he's bowled over 100 games on national television, has a losing record.
62 and 74.
Yep. Amazing, as great a player as he is. How about it? Well, Roth with a little theatrics, and we're 5 for 5 here. Roth starts out with a turkey, and right now he's just about as hot as you can get.
And Parker better have his strike clothes on, I'll tell you.
It's a strike fest here at Thruway Lane.
And Parker must be wondering, you know, the last time he was on national television, he bowled 255 and got beat. You know, he didn't strike on the fill ball. If he'd have struck there, he would have had 10 strikes in the game and lost.
Yep, to Walter Ray Williams Jr. And that, of course, just a couple of weeks ago at the Hammer Open in Edmond, Oklahoma. Boy, we've had some exciting matches on ESPN this summer. Boy, just some terrific finishes. These two gentlemen are providing us with another one. And now, between the two of them, they are 7 for 7. Parker Bohn starts with the first 4. Mark Roth starts with the first 3. Will it end? Will we see another 299? I don't know. Don't forget to stay tuned.
My place or your place?
My place, of course. My place has delicious food and cozy dining. Fresh homemade pizza with a variety of toppings oozing with mozzarella. Hot and cold subs, spaghetti, rigatoni, stromboli. And My place has specials like mouth-watering manicotti and fresh veal parmesan. Plus, you can eat and relax in the dining room, or My place has takeout available with a convenient drive-through window.
Let's go.
Where?
My place, of course, with 5 convenient locations.
Next week on Warner Cable.
Put up your dukes. Tuesday, sit ringside and cheer for the champions. It's Tuesday Fights on USA. Friday, more body slamming and mud slinging. It's Championship Wrestling on ESPN. Weeknights on TBS. Ow! Right in the kiss! The quarreling continues with Ralph and Alice on The Honeymooners. Tuesday Fights, Wrestling, The Honeymooners, sparring partners. Next week.
ESPN's August sizzles with sports excitement. The NFL comes to cable for unsurpassable showdowns live Sunday night. There's Grand Slam golf at the PGA Championship and top-notch tennis at the Volvo International. August means high-speed thrills with 3 NASCAR and 2 Grand Prix events. Harness racing at its best and thoroughbred excitement every Saturday. It's all part of the hottest August yet on ESPN.
And taking a look back here at Thruway Lanes, last year's champion, Jeff Bellinger, got a check this week. Didn't quite get to the finals, though.
Gary Skidmore, 1985, in a very exciting match where he struck to win.
And Hall of Famer George Pappas was the winner here in 1984.
And Sam Zurich was up there for a while this week, but had trouble the last 8 games. And we've been racking our brains here for other players that have bowled 299 as we see the finalists round by round. Warren going from 95th to 1st, and Bohn toward the end right up there all the way. Roth.
Very consistent other than the 3rd round, right?
Right, yeah. Sliker up there and wound up 4th. And Branham was there all week long.
Yeah, you're right. When you take a look back at the 299s, of course, everybody has to remember Coco Johnson's 299 in the Tournament of Champions. Back in what, 1971?
1970. I was on that show.
Yeah. You were a victim, right?
No, I lost to Ricker the game before. I mean,
you got a nice front row seat for it, though, right? Mark Roth with 3 in a row. Will he continue to strike? Oh, my goodness. He's going to strike until the cows come home, and I have a feeling that they're, what, about a half mile away?
Then other 299s, Earl Anthony have one in Cleveland where he left a solid 9-pin. That was, I can remember watching that, falling to my knees when I saw that. And I think he had another one in Hawaii. So
And some other notable last year, of course, Jim Harvey with 297 in the Southern California Open on ESPN. But to our knowledge, Mark Roth's 299 tonight, the highest game ever on ESPN. Roth for number 5. This one's a little slow, and as you see, as it breaks through a little bit, how about some help? And Mark finally turns around and realizes, well, he might not have deserved to get a strike there.
And it's amazing, just again, how tough the competition is out here. He had 11 out of 12 the first game, started this game with 4 out of 5, and he's behind.
Yeah. He's now struck 15 out of 17 shots, and finds himself, as you said, maybe trailing.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, my goodness. He hasn't shot a spare in so long, he probably forgot how. And Mark, normally an outstanding spare shooter, has a bit of a break in his concentration, and he really kind of throws the door wide open for young Parker Bohn III.
That'll unnerve you. I mean, the spare, if he'd have made it, he'd have regrouped and said, well, I'm just going to... But to miss the spare, if this kid comes back with 2 strikes, it's going to be... Gave it a lot of room. Oh! Well, he gets a good break to get 9.
Well, we're spoiled at this point. Every time one of these professionals throws a shot, we expect to see the X come up on the masking unit.
Parker, 4-step player. Pushes the ball out, free swing, head steady, back swing, long slide. Look at the deep knee bend on the left knee. Head steady, right on the target. He's going to make a lot of money.
And there you see his mom and his sister Cindy. And they were present out in Seattle when he won Columbia 300 Open earlier this year.
Yeah.
He owns a pro shop at Howell Lanes in New Jersey, and that's where his parents first met. So it's obviously a bowling family.
Nice young man.
Oh, terrific. Now, if he would win this evening, he would break into the top 10 money-wise thus far this year. And, you know, for a player who's only been out here 2 or 3 years, those are some heavy-duty numbers.
It's interesting to see the evolution and maturation of a player. He's just gaining more confidence and just believes in his ability now.
He's a very relaxed player, very confident player. Takes everything in stride, doesn't get all carried away with conditions one way or another, just figures out a way to hit them, kind of like Dick Ricker used to do. Roth trying to bounce back after the missed 7-pin, and steady as she goes, Mike Durbin.
Went a little high in this lane last time. Let's see if he makes some kind of an adjustment. Roth, a lot of times, will just give it a little more speed and a little more loft and delay the roll a little further and overpower a lane.
4-time Player of the Year, had probably the greatest year in professional bowling history back in 1978 when he won 8 titles. Set the title record and the money record the same year, and he was just absolutely phenomenal.
I watched every one of them. I was out there.
So was I.
As a spectator.
Probably could have won a couple more. That one skids a little too far, as you might have gotten that one in a touch inside. The ball just didn't grab.
Well, that's the adjustment for the high hit the last time. He made some kind of a move, and this time the ball doesn't finish. So what goes through your mind right now is the lane's changing a little bit, and I've got to make that adjustment. What is it?
Well, I guarantee you one thing. You won't miss 2 in a row.
Dead center.
He takes a nice look at it as he walks away, too. There's one thing Mark Roth dislikes immensely. It's missing 1-pin spares. He's made a career out of being one of the best spare shooters.
The upset of the week is brought to you by Pepto-Bismol. For most common stomach discomforts, the one that coats is the only one you need. Monday night in Anaheim, Minnesota Twins pitcher Joe Niekro's glove is examined by the umpire. The knuckleball specialist was then asked to empty his pockets. When he did, an emery board flew from his hand and landed on the ground. Niekro was immediately ejected for defacing the ball. Joe Niekro, the first pitcher since 1982, suspended for doctoring a baseball. The Pepto-Bismol upset of the week.
Were you surprised?
Surprised it turned 40? No.
I meant the party. The pizza.
The heartburn.
Mm-hmm. You know what they say about anchovies at your age.
Anchovies don't get to be my age. Do we have any Pepto?
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the soothing relief of Pepto-Bismol. The one that coats is the only one you need.
Feeling better?
Like a kid again.
A very consistent week indeed for Parker Bohn III. 36 out of 42 games, not too bad. Really one of the rising stars on the PBA Tour.
And right now he can really put his heel into Mark Roth and grind him into the ground with a couple more strikes.
Kind of amazing. He gives Mark a lot of credit for his success out here, having kind of taught him the ropes a little bit about living on the PBA Tour and bowling in PBA National Tournament competition. Mark's probably thinking to himself, geez, you know, I probably shouldn't have taught him so quick.
Well, he gives a lot of credit to Dave and Joanne Davis also.
That's exactly right. Dave said that when he had his bowling center in New Jersey, that Parker was on his junior all-star team. And if you look at their two games, they're obviously similar in some respects. And you're talking about one of the great left-handed swings of all time in Dave Davis.
Oh, yeah.
Parker up by 22. Looking for more.
Oh, boy. A chink in the armor. I mean, a big chink.
That might be a chunk.
He's only going to be ahead by 7 pins now, and Mark Roth suddenly has new life breathed right into him.
You'll see Roth's nostrils start flaring at this point. He realizes all of a sudden he's got a second coming perhaps here. Parker Bohn nearly bounces 6-pin out of the gutter, but we'll have to settle for 9 out in the 8th frame, and he has 184 through 8 frames. Mark Roth working on a spare, shooting in the 8th. Trails by 7 pins.
Hasn't missed the right lane yet, Dan.
Nope.
For the day.
That's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? I was going to wait for you to say something. How many strikes in a row on the right-hand lane?
Well,
Danny Schreiner asked Chuck Pierce, our statistician.
Five the last game, and he has, let's see, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 this game, so it's 9.
9 for 9. He could shut out Parker Bohn III if he strikes out, too. He'd end up with 247.
Well, you got to take him one at a time. He's high. He's lost on that lane. He went high, light, now high again. He's getting the, what they call the overreaction. Something's happened to that lane in mid-form here. Boy, he's got a tough spare, too, the 36910. Watch it here. He went light last time. Gives it more room. Now the ball's going to hook too quick. Right now, it's grabbing. Right through the heart of the pin, so let's see if he can make this very difficult spare. He's in trouble. Oh!
Well, a little reprieve for Mark Roth, who didn't throw that one exactly the way he wanted.
Well, he'll take it anyway and get it right now.
I have a feeling that his wife Jackie and his daughter Stephanie were probably cringing when he let that one go, but they coached it in there for the spare conversion.
Well, Parker right now needs a double to lock up this match. Knocks out that 7-pin, so it's going to come down to this. If he can strike the first ball in the 10th, he's going to win the match. If he does not strike, Roth can double in the 10th to win. He gives this one more room. Out around the 11th board, swings out to maybe the 7th or 8th, comes back in light, and the 4-pin nudges out that 7. As Billy Whalen used to say, that tender touch.
And Mark Roth had the tender touch from the 6 first 2 shots.
He was looking for it in the 12th, but
oh boy, not quite.
For the win. Gave it room. Too much room. Leaves the 3, 5, 6. There's the adjustment for the 8th frame where he went high. Both players now struggling on lane 45, but Roth is the important thing, can win the match. Parker needs to get himself together to make this spare, though. As he gets it way out there in the weeds, comes back light. Remember, that 1 pin has to hit 3 to strike for a left-hander. Didn't hit it.
Well, now he needs to convert the cross alley spare.
Perfect.
Boy, nice shot.
See how he flattened that out? He did not throw a big sweeping hook on that shot. He straightened his wrist, flattened that wrist out, and kind of threw the ball just what they call a fudge knuckler at that spare, and it made it.
In other words, you don't lift the ball perhaps as much as you do on your strike ball?
Right. See if we see the spare. He's right behind it here. Deep knee bend. Stays behind it. Ball did not turn around. Hand did not turn around the ball, rather.
Needs a strike for 224, and he nails it. So Parker Bohn shoots .224, makes the big error in the 8th as Mom looks on, and now Mark Roth in a position where he can come from behind to win again.
Needs 2 strikes and 8.
He's thrown 9 consecutive strikes on the right-hand lane.
Well, there's one.
Oh, he is a cool customer, isn't he?
He's fun to watch right now.
Oh,
he's just fun to watch.
Well, you know, Hall of Famers come up with Hall of Fame performances, and that's what you are witnessing here this evening. This is like watching Babe Ruth hit 3 home runs in a ball game.
Right.
You know, 299. I mean, he just doesn't get much better than that. This is the critical shot, though.
Light.
Well, he's got him dancing on the deck, and now he needs 8 pins to vault himself into the title match and look for career victory number 33.
He smells it all the way, Dan. He smells it, even though he's struggling on lane 45 right now. He's zeroed in his concentration and the job that has to be done. Right now he needs 8, and he's just thinking one thing: strike, hit the pocket. 7, no, we have a tie in a 2-frame roll-off.
Not a chance in the world, and he shoots an Andy Verapapa 300 on the right-hand lane in 2 games. Roth is 12 for 12 on lane 46.
Master in the clutch. Right over that second arrow. He took no chances through the frozen rope here. Flush, less hook, solid.
Big strike for Roth, and the moment he let it go, it was only a question of time. How about it? He says, I got it for the 227 and a very narrow victory. So Mark Roth, the PBA Hall of Famer, has just 1 game left to win his first tournament since 1984.
After years of research, the high-tech laboratories of Columbia 300 have created the most advanced urethane bowling ball ever made. The 100% urethane Columbia 300 U-Dot. The extraordinary U-Dot solves the inherent problems of lope and wobble. Its devastating pin power and superior lane control characteristics are unequaled. If you bowl to win, the Columbia 300 U-Dot is the ultimate weapon. It's like no ball ever made before. Sold only in lanes and pro shops.
Get it right. Get it right, get it right, get it right. Get it right. Nobody's body's like your body. Foot Locker, we got the shoes for your body. Get it right. Come see the latest and the greatest. Foot Locker, number 1 for your body. In the gym or on the corner on the street. The Foot Locker pros got it right for your feet. Serious. Get it right for your body. Come to the stripes. Foot Locker, come to the stripes.
The stars of tomorrow are slugging it out on ESPN every week. Top Rank Boxing puts you in the ring where champions are made. Live Tuesday nights at 9 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Been a rather exciting evening thus far here in Cheektowaga, New York.
Well, Roth said he was going to get 300 one way or another, and he didn't get it in that first game with 299, but he had 12 in a row in the right-hand lane, which is an Andy Verapapa 300.
And let's take a look at the final shot in the last game that really locked things up for him.
And Roth needed 8 here. The experienced veteran that he is, he cut down on the hook, a little straighter trajectory to the pocket. Same result as he had in all the others, though. Solid 1-3 strike there.
Now let's take a look at what else has transpired here at Thruway Lanes this evening. As you see Mark Roth growling in the 12th frame. George Branham III defeated Gil Sliker 227 to 212, and then the fireworks really went off when Roth nearly came up with a 300 game, leaving the soft 10 on the 12th shot, 299 to 202, and then he came from behind a big turkey in the 10th, 11th, and 12th to snap off Parker Bohn III and give himself a chance to win his 33rd career PBA title.
And Dan, I'm trying to add up all those numbers to get an idea of what they're averaging here. Quickly, I think they're averaging over 230 for our telecast tonight. So the guys have got the line. It's just a matter of whether they're going to carry and strike when they need them.
Well, they hit the pocket all week long here in Cheektowaga. Let's take a look at the tournament statistics, maybe give the folks some idea of what happened average-wise this week.
Some big scores here. Our right-handers averaged 209, lefties 205. All the bowlers in the field, all 160, 209. What you needed to cash was 213 and a whopping 219 to make the top 24. Best match play record, Chris Warren at 18-5-1, 37 games in a row over 200 by Ron Palumbi. And then Jimmy Keith had 20 consecutive 200s. That's pretty good for that big ball that he throws.
You know, I figured out why Mark didn't shoot the 300, of course, in that second game, because he would have had to bowl the following game left-handed. He didn't want to do that.
That's exactly right. He said he'd bowl left-handed if he shot 300, but I think he was trying there, I'll tell you.
I think he probably was, too. Several other players had outstanding weeks here in the Cheektowaga area this week, and they bowled very well. Let's take a look at the players who finished from 6th through 24th, because there were some excellent players in the field.
Well, we were looking at Pete Weber in that final game, but he dropped from 4th to 6th. Wayne Webb bowling well. Norm Duke in 8th. Dave Ferraro every week. Ryan Schaefer Jr. finished 10th. Harry Sullins in 11th. Oh, good-looking Brian Voss. And there's Jimmy Keith in 13th. Palmer Fahlgren in the finals every week, it seems like. Jim Pensack, an old friend of mine. Mike Edwards in the finals a lot of times this summer. Mats Carlson there again. Ron Palumbi tied with Carlson. Tony Westlake, good-looking young player. And Sam Zurich, who was a winner, dropped down that last 8 games. Magic Gray, another black player in the finals, didn't do as well as George, though. Randy Peterson, Mark Baker, and Andy Noor finished 24th and held up the field.
Well, we've got a very interesting confrontation here in the championship match. On one hand, you've got 23-year-old Chris Warren, who has to be nervous. First time he's ever led a PBA national tournament into the championship round. And then you've got the wily old veteran on a roll this evening, Mark Roth, who's been there so many times before. What do you think is going to happen, Mike Durbin?
Well, you know, we asked Chris Warren in the interview if he was intimidated by Mark Roth, and he said, no, I'm not intimidated at all, but he is. There's got to be a little fear in his heart. He's better come out striking in a hurry, or Roth could bury him.
I mean, that's really like taking on a heavyweight, and a heavyweight who was knocked out the 2 previous contenders in about 2 or 3 rounds, almost like Mike Tyson.
Well, one thing you have to consider, though, that Roth is a little bit lost on lane 45. He gets no practice shots on that. We'll see what kind of an adjustment he can make, because he's got to hit both lanes in order to beat this young Chris Warren.
Well, Chris Warren defeated Mark Roth during the week, and he'll have to see if he can do it one more time here this evening in the finals of the $115,000 Greater Buffalo Open. We'll be coming up with that championship match in just a moment or so. It should be a dandy, so stick around.
Since you don't buy a refrigerator every day,
I should have bought a Frigidaire! I finally got a Frigidaire.
ask for the one that lasts.
I should have bought a Frigidaire. I finally got a Frigidaire.
It's still hard to find a refrigerator that'll outwork or outlast a Frigidaire. There's only one Frigidaire. Ask for it by name.
I'll take the Frigidaire. Now.
Frigidaire, here today, here tomorrow.
For a measly $2.99, you can look like a devil-may-care adventurer, America's top ace. Just look for K-Site Additives' sensational sunglasses sale, wherever K-Site Automotive Additives are sold. Buy any 2 K-Site Additives for your car or other vehicle and get a pair of these fabulous sunglasses for only $2.99. And we'll bring out the best in you.
When it comes to buying a home, most people go about things in a very strange way. In fact, they fall in love with a house before they know how much house they can afford. Maybe the last thing on your mind should be the first place you start. Talk to a member of the First Nationwide Network about home loans today. You'll get a handle on all your housing costs and a start in the right direction.
Mornings at our summer place start early. While the sun's just a glimmer, I'm up fixing those homemade biscuits everyone loves. Why, I don't think the birds wake up till they smell those biscuits. And there's always someone who seems to know just when that coffee's brewed and that bacon's crisp, and sure enough, he's ready for a helping. Well, all I can say to that is, good morning. Welcome to McDonald's.
Serving up summertime at McDonald's.
Next week on ESPN, the PBA Tour travels north to Windsor, Ontario, Canada for the finals of the Molson Golden Bowling challenge. And if the bowling is anywhere near as exciting as it's been here this evening, you won't want to miss that one. Wednesday night, August 12th, 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on ESPN, the summer home of the PBA Tour.
And remember to tell a friend to watch the bowling show.
Holy cow, if you just tuned in, you've missed some unbelievable action here this evening. There you see Mark Roth smiling, and he shot .299 earlier this evening and left a 10-pin that cost him $25,000, and he still has a smile on his face.
And I think Chris Warren has made an error in strategy right out of the gate. He is letting Mark Roth finish on this right lane that he's not failed to strike on yet.
Well, he's thrown a dozen strikes in a row on lane 46, but he'll have to open up on 45, a lane that's given him trouble.
Well, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have made him finish on that lane.
And there you see the graphics. First shot, Mark likes it, and he strikes on the left-hand lane. Well, he has started with a number of strikes here this evening. In the opening game that he bowled, he opened with the first 11. And, of course, in the second game, Mark opened up with the first 4.
And more importantly, he seems to have made the adjustment on lane 45. He got lost there for a little while.
Yeah, Chris Warren's real crazy about that, too.
You know, Chris Warren had a great match play record in Austin, Texas, too. He's 18-5-1 here. I think he was like 17-7 there. So he says this match play is easy.
Doesn't take a lot of time, and Zippo. Oh, they call him the Dynamo from Dallas, and this kid can just flat bowl. Don't kid yourself. There you see the first good look at the right-hander, 23 years of age. This week, 228.23, high game of 300. His brother, Andy, also shot a 300 game down in Texas earlier this week. He has 9 brothers and sisters, so he comes from a very competitive situation.
7 boys and 3 girls. Well, I don't know anything about strategy. This kid.
And there is his mother, Mary. As, believe me, she's a little more nervous perhaps than she might look at that point. Flew in from Dallas earlier today to watch her son bowl. She introduced him to the game of bowling when he was about 12. He obviously caught on in a hurry. Mark Roth has been perfect on the right-hand lane for the entire evening. And just as he gets started, he hears something in the background, and he very alertly stops. Mark shakes his head and gears up one more time. Gets so quiet in the bowling center that just the slightest sound can set a player off.
There was a waitress in the back here emptying an ashtray and banging. I don't know if that's what he heard or not, but I heard it.
No tips tonight.
And 4-9. And he says thank you to somebody. It wasn't the waitress. It was somebody sitting over here to the left. I don't know. He pointed a finger right at him and said thank you.
Well, somebody right now is feeling pretty badly. Whether it was an accident or not, it happened and distracted him. And now he's got a 4-9 staring him in the face on the lane that he has just owned here this evening.
He's a great split maker.
Roth.
I thought he hit it too full. Got to hit that 4-pin on the left side, aiming at about 1/8 of an inch at 60 feet. It just clipped the 9 and says, all right, take that.
Well, Roth goes back to work on the left-hand lane. Trying to dig in, and he does. Reaches out, slaps that 7-pin right out of play.
The intensity's there, Doug.
Boy, we've been kidding him all week long. Mark, you're too loose. You need to tighten up a little bit.
Flush in the pocket. 2-pin goes up over the 7-pin and then hits it on the way down.
Yeah, that's 2 points for a takedown. No question about that. Chris Warren, undaunted at this point, though. Hey, I'm taking a walk in the park. I opened with a double. No big deal.
Watch his first step. He picks that toe up and then puts the heel down. And takes 5 quick steps and strikes. It will.
Well, he's 5 foot 5 inches tall and weighs a strapping 115 pounds. That ball he's swinging right now is about
trouble.
That's about 1/9 of his total gross weight. That 16-pound bowling ball. But he starts with a turkey. Hey, he's fearless. This kid made the championship finals just 4 weeks ago in the Austin Open and defeated Pete McCordick in his opening match before losing to the eventual winner, Kent Wagner, 227 to 189. Trying to extend his lead right here. And looking for 4 in a row. Good shot. Oh, boy, did that snap off the lane in a hurry, and he's got the double pinochle. And as David Letterman would say, that's not a pretty sight.
He got it wider, and it hooked quicker. Out to about the 6th board. Now watch how much this ball hooks in the last 15 feet of that lane. Right through the heart of the pins when it looked like it was going to be flush. You thought it was solid.
Mm-hmm.
So did I.
Boy, it sure looked like it.
Boy, but
major overreaction. Just maybe hit it too good.
Gave it too much room and got the overreaction. He's right.
Well, he'll give that double pinochle a run and just barely miss.
Well, he went for it boldly. Cost him 2 more pins and count.
Well, the match kind of turns around a little bit at that stage, and Mark Roth has been in the right spot at the right time all evening long. Let's see if it continues.
Where's everybody going?
Why, they're all headed to Clearview Lanes in Hennigan's for their old-fashioned days.
Old-fashioned days?
That's right. On Saturday and Sunday, August 8th and 9th, you can enjoy the prices of the good old days at Clearview Lanes. Bowl for 50 cents a game, and get hot dogs and a Coke for 50 cents each.
What a great deal.
It sure is, but you better hurry. Old-fashioned days is for 2 days only, August 8th and 9th, at Hennigan's in Clearview Lanes, Route 230 in Mount Joy.
This weekend on Warner Cable.
Double Trouble, Saturday on USA. You'll double over with laughter. It's comedy shorts, your favorite videos, music, and more on Night Flight. And Sunday.
I think you'll find that when we say private, we mean that the bathroom's not open to the general public.
The bathroom's not, but the movie is. There's Trouble in Paradise at Club Paradise on HBO. Night Flight, Club Paradise, Double Trouble, this weekend.
And there is a look at the prize money breakdown for our championship round finalists this evening. $16,000 on top.
$82.50 for second, and I've lost count. 6, 5, and 4, I think it was, for third, fourth, and fifth. Roth right now is thinking only one thing, and that's winning.
17 years as a PBA member, was a unanimous choice for the PBA's Hall of Fame this past year.
Well, if he wasn't, something's wrong.
Yep.
Anybody that didn't vote for him for the Hall of Fame had to be a Rip Van Winkle for the last 20 years.
4 times the PBA's Player of the Year. He's done it all in the game. Trying to win 33 here this evening. You know, it's funny, though, Mike, in watching Mark bowl the last month, he has really bowled well.
He's so loose, so confident. I tell you what, Chris Warren really made an error letting him finish on that right lane, I think, but we'll wait and see.
You know, Warren with a donut there in the 4th. That was the double pinochle. And Mark Roth, being the seasoned veteran that he is, jumped all over that opportunity.
Well, you know that's going to happen. This guy didn't win 32 titles by not taking advantage of opponents' mistakes.
It's been a while since he's won, though, and he's very hungry indeed. When you see Mark Roth start to run out shots, you know that he just flat is ready to win.
And there's just, Chris Warren, I feel for him right now because you've got a guy here that just has so much experience, and right now he's bowling with so much confidence, and he smells victory. He knows how to win. Chris Warren has to prove yet that he knows how to win.
Almost like David and Goliath.
Well, right now, Goliath is winning.
Here comes the slingshot, though. Don't count Chris Warren out of anything. Watched him play match play the last couple of weeks. And he told Harry Smith, the PBA's assistant national tournament director, you know, Harry, I have trouble qualifying sometimes, but boy, I sure like that match play. And I can understand why. He likes to go toe-to-toe.
If he doesn't strike right now, Denny, I think the match is over.
Mike, it's only the 5th frame.
I understand that. I'm going out on a limb here.
All right. Taking plenty of time here in the 6th. Needs a double desperately.
Oh, got that light hit. Now, he made that adjustment for that high hit. Boy, he has vicious carry. He hits that pocket. But he keeps himself alive right there.
Told me in one match game block this week, he left 38 10-pins, made a change with his equipment, and that was the difference in the tournament.
That ball barely got to the head pin, but see it hit the 2, come back and get that wall shot.
Back to Mr. Roth on the right-hand lane. He's got a turkey working.
4-bagger now, Danny.
Well, I don't know what the price of admission was here this evening at Thruway Lanes.
But they got a bargain, yes.
Yeah, this is the sports bargain of the summer, I have a feeling. You'll find people who sat here this evening remembering 20, 30 years from now they saw Mark Roth shoot .299.
And then plus, it's just a treat to watch him bowl right now. He's just bowling with so much confidence. He just so much experience. He just knows what to do. And it's like history being made. You know, as you say, they'll look back on this. He wants another re-rack. 2 re-racks in a row in that left lane.
Those are his first 2 of the game, I presume.
Yes, and again, the rule is that he gets 3. And if there's 10 pins standing at the other end of the lane, he's got to shoot them, even if they're on top of one another.
Didn't it used to be where you got, what, 2, and then you would bring Harry Golden over, the national tournament director, and it would be his choice at that point?
Right, and the tournament committee decided that Goose was getting too much TV exposure, so they changed the rule.
I understand.
No, really. It was an effort to make our telecast go a little faster.
Well, it's gone very quickly here this evening because these professionals have just flat struck. Oh, Roth is down on one knee, and that happens about once a tournament. When he gets down and starts asking for one, normally it's a pretty solid shot.
Look at the loft. Watch the loft. Out there almost to the dots. Out to about the 8th board. Whatever trouble he had with this lane, he sure solved the problem.
Boy, he looks like a hungry bear, doesn't he? Down on one knee, disappears. Ooh, he liked it all the way. Big smile on his
prayer
face.
there, huh?
Well, back to the youngster. What a gutsy little performer this guy is.
He better call upon all the guts he has right now.
All his brothers and sisters down in Dallas rooting him on. Trying to get another strike. And he does. How about it, Mike? It's Butch, Mike, Mark, Martin, Ted, Chris, Andy, Pat, Francis, and Susan. I got all 10 of them in. Can you believe that?
And amazingly enough, if he strikes on this next shot, he will have struck 7 out of the first 8 frames as we see his 5 really quick steps, especially the middle ones. Kind of a pause there. Then he catches up here, long slide. It snaps it at the end, that release at the end. The result was flush in the pot. If he strikes here, he has struck 7 out of his first 8 and be behind.
That's kind of depressing.
Well, yeah, but he still keeps himself in the match if he can strike here. Pocket 7-10, and it stands.
Oh, my goodness. And an ooh and an awe from the crowd here at Thruway Lanes, and a nice round of applause. Well, that was Ron Palumbi Jr.'s demise last week, and it happens once again here this evening.
And again, he's watching it come in light, trying to root out that light hit. When you see a bowler moving to his right, he knows it's light, and he looks at it. One of them would have been bad enough, but both of them just takes all the lifeblood right out of him.
Boy, oh boy. Talk about just watching your whole life pass in front of your eyes. Of course, if he wins here, it's a trip to the Firestone Tournament of Champions and his first PBA title. And don't have to tell anybody what that means. Come on, dance out of there, 10-pin, but it doesn't. So Chris Warren with an open that will be costly in the 8th. Now, the best Warren can shoot is .226. However, Mark Roth is at a blistering pace at this point.
Roth strikes twice now. It's over entirely.
Right-hand lane has been his delight here this evening.
Still
running one out that time to the left, and he has saved the theatrics here for the title match. To get here, Mark defeated George Branham III, 299 to 202. Then he barely edged out Parker Bohn III, 227, 224. And he's locked in a match now with Chris Warren for the title. you can see a little smirk. Not in a derogatory fashion at all. Mark Roth obviously trying to release a little of the tension. Boy, he's had to bowl under some unbelievable pressure here this evening with the 299 game and then, of course, the tough semifinal match. I guess, Mike, no matter how many times you win, it's always difficult, isn't it?
It gets easier, though, after the first. That first one's always the toughest, I'll tell you. Split screen here. Roth throwing and Roth's reaction.
Well, he was talking Brooklynese there, speaking to those 10 pins at the other end of the lane, and Roth with a possible 259.
Well, see, that almost locks it up because he can open in the 10th and still shoot 227, and the best Chris Warren can get is 226. So Chris Warren has to strike out to hope something disastrous happens to Roth.
Well, you have to start from the very beginning. First shot in the 10th.
See, with the way he hits that right lane, and he chose to finish on the other lane. I just don't understand it.
Inexperience, do you think?
No, but I think it was that he wanted to get his score up on the board first.
Which is a good move.
It is, but you've got to be willing to say, hey, if I got to strike on the 10th frame, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish on my best lane. And I'm just judging from the way he's thrown the ball tonight that the right lane was his best lane.
I think so, too. Obviously, Mark's best lane. Well, these are things you learn, though, right, Mike? I mean, just a youngster out here, only 23 years of age, and he's already made a tremendous impact this summer.
To stay alive. And he does.
A lot of class right now being shown by this youngster from Dallas, Texas. Not going to give up.
No spares. If he gets 2 more strikes, he finishes 10. 10 out of 12 and could lose.
That's an amazing statistic. And basically, when you look at the swishing 7-10, he hit the pocket there.
And I was just adding up our scores. Our players tonight are averaging 230 for the 6 games, and they're going to shoot average over that for these 2 games.
Well, Mark Roth coming in for 2 games was averaging 263. Might fall a little short this game, but what the heck? 259's not bad. Pros have really treated the spectators here this evening.
Stay alive. Hurry up. Oh, that does it.
Couldn't throw it much better. And there you see Mark. Obviously, he realizes it's all over. And a dejected Chris Warren gave it all he had, just came up a little bit short.
He sure did. I mean, that's an awful strong 215 game. Just 2 big donuts right there in the middle. And it's hard to make double pinochle in the 7-10, Benny.
Yeah.
I've been bowling 35 years and made one of those once.
Yeah. Probably in practice, too, right?
No, it was in a pro-am.
Oh, jeez. Gave the AMs a thrill, I'm sure. Well, Chris Warren spares it up. Obviously a little disappointed, but offers a congratulatory handshake to a Hall of Famer, Mark Roth. And I'll guarantee you right now, as they chat, Chris Warren will never forget the first time he bowled Roth on national television. All that's left now is the icing on the cake for Mark Roth. Boy, it's been his night all the way as he turns around and shows the fans his appreciation for their support. Look at that. They're standing up here in Buffalo.
They do this every year, Denny. They give a standing ovation every year. But, boy, it's well-deserved this time.
Roth with career title number 33. And with the $16,000 added to this year's earnings, he now goes to a little better than $66,000 and will trail Earl Anthony by only a little more than $12,000 to become the all-time leading money winner in PBA history. Could have done so earlier tonight, though, with a possible 299 game as Mark waiting to look over at the monitor, realizing that he is now the champion.
And if he strikes on this ball, Dan, he's going to wind up with 30 strikes for 3 games. 30 out of 36.
Come on, ball hook a little bit. Ho, 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 ho. Well, they'll never forget this one this evening, and I'll guarantee you that Mark Roth will watch the replay of this Greater Buffalo Championship for many, many years to come, wondering what happened in the 12th shot in game number 1.
Well, I've enjoyed it. I don't know about you. I'll tell you, it's been fun for me, fun for Roth.
And there you see the champion giving the high fives all the way around. Terrific competitor, great bowler, and I think we basically saw Mark Roth at his very best here this evening.
I tell you what, if he gets better than this, I don't want to go near him.
And neither will the rest of the players on the tour. Mark Roth, the champion of the $115,000 Greater Buffalo Open. We'll be back to chat with that champion right after this.
You could win a vacation anywhere in the nation in the Dutch Boy Nationwide Sweepstakes sale going on right now. The grand prize is a bundle of vacation certificates to pay for airline tickets, hotels, cruises, or tours anywhere in the nation. So come on in and register to win the vacation you've dreamed about. Plus get great savings on Dutch Boy products during the Nationwide Sweepstakes sale at participating retailers.
Dutch Boy never lets up. He always looks good. He works hard for your money.
Good times never lasted longer.
A light bulb is more than a great idea. It's one way True Value hardware stores help make your home more secure. Brighten your yard with this instant-on quartz floodlight, only $10.99. Then earn a $4 rebate with this TrueGuard Mercury Vapor Yard Light that covers up to 16,000 square feet. Add beauty and security with energy-saving GE Miser flood lamps and earn a $1 rebate. Then work overtime with the GE Bright Stick and earn a $2 mail-in rebate at participating True Value hardware stores.
When that first warning itch of athlete's foot strikes, you want to stop that itch in seconds. Not even the leading remedy says it can do that. But Absorbine Jr. can. Absorbine Jr. also kills athlete's foot fungus on contact. So when that first warning itch of athlete's foot strikes, why wait 24 hours for relief when Absorbine Jr. can stop that itch in seconds? Absorbine Jr. can do that. It really can.
And here's a look at the winner of the $115,000 Greater Buffalo Open from Cheektowaga, New York. A smiling Mark Roth. Mark, the first question for you, I know it's got to be difficult winning all those titles, and you go a couple of years without one, people start to question your ability. It's got to feel good to get back in the winner's circle.
Yes, it does, Denny. It's been a little frustrating. I bowled some good games, some bad games, and today I just had a good shot, and I felt confident all week, and I bowled well in New York State. I grew up in New York State. Even though I live in Jersey, but it was just, the crowd was behind me all week, and they were behind me tonight, and it a little extra adrenaline, and I wanted to win real bad.
I know you'd finished second here in the past. You'd made the finals 4 different times without a victory, and it's got to be sweet here to win in the Empire State.
Yes, it is, and it's nice to bring it home again, and it took a long time for number 33. I'm trying to catch up my age, so I need 3 more real quick.
You'll be winning titles when you're 55. Let's bring out one of the presenters here, Phil Cantonese, and boy, what a beautiful trophy you have for a tremendous champion.
Thank you very much. Mark, on behalf of Bell's Markets and all the people of Buffalo, I'd like to be the first to congratulate you on an outstanding tournament and wish you well coming back to our tournament next year.
I'd like to thank Bell's Market. They've been a great sponsor over the years. You bet I'll be back next year and more years to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now some more good news by the general manager here, Jack Dolan. And Jack, it just doesn't get a whole lot better than what Mr. Roth put together here this evening.
Except for one thing. Saturday morning, Mark walked in and he says, "I'm going to win this one for you." And he pointed it at me. He's been around that winner's circle all the years he's been here, and he had to get it sooner or later.
Thank you, Jack. I'd like to thank people at Combo Bowling Centers. They've hosted this tournament for many years, a great sponsor, and hope to see you next year. Thank you.
Jack, thank you so much. Let's bring in our color commentator, Mike Durbin, who was just, for some reason or other, Mark, a tad nervous when you threw that shot in the 12th. Mike, what was going through your mind?
I don't know. I know how nervous I was. I don't know how nervous you were. What was going through your mind in that 12th shot?
Well, it was the second .299 shot on TV. And I just wanted to make sure I wasn't high like the last shot. And kind of lost a little bit and turned a little early and left with 10-pin, but it was still close and almost carried it. But I'll take it.
And let's take a look at the fateful shot in the 12th. Looked pretty good when you let it go.
You were running it out.
It felt good. I think I started running too soon. The 6-pin just fell and just missed, and the head-pin just didn't want to go.
Well, I got one question. If you'd have shot that 300 game, would you have bowled the next game left-handed?
Well, we talked about that early. I don't think so. I have a good shot. I wanted to win, so I think I would have stayed right-handed.
Mark, you've had a lot of great nights, a lot of great moments in bowling. Does this go down as one of the tops?
I'd say so. It's the best series ever bowled on TV, and even though I missed the 7-pin, I'd say it's one of my best performances yet.
Well, if you get better than this, I'll tell you what, I'd like to see it.
Me too.
And so would everybody else on ESPN. We'll be back with a final comment from our champion here at the Greater Buffalo Open right after these messages.
After years of research, the high-tech laboratories of Columbia 300 have created the most advanced urethane bowling ball ever made, the 100% urethane Columbia 300 U-Dot. The extraordinary U-Dot solves the inherent problems of lope and wobble. Its devastating pen power and superior lane control characteristics are unequaled. If you bowl to win, the Columbia 300 U-Dot is the ultimate weapon. It's like no ball ever made before. Sold only in lanes and pro shops.
Get it right. Get it right, get it right, get it right. Get it right. Nobody's body's like your body. Foot Locker, you got the shoes for your body. Get it right. Come see the latest and the greatest. Foot Locker, #1 for your body. In the gym or on the court or on the street. The Foot Locker pros got it right for your feet. Serious. Get it right for your body. Come to the stripes. Foot Locker, come to the stripes.
A light bulb is more than a great idea. It's one way True Value hardware stores help make your home more secure. Brighten your yard with this instant-on quartz floodlight, only $10.99. Then earn a $4 rebate with this TrueGuard Mercury Vapor Yard Light that covers up to 16,000 square feet. Add beauty and security with energy-saving GE Miser flood lamps and earn a $1 rebate. Then work overtime with the GE Bright Stick and earn a $2 mail-in rebate at participating True Value hardware stores.
It's the Summer Championship Series for action. The Pro Bowlers Summer Tour. Live every Wednesday night only on ESPN. Exciting strikes, agonizing misses, colorful characters. Every week, 5 of the world's best bowlers compete in championship round action. The Summer Tour excitement continues with live coverage of the Canadian Challenge. Live Wednesday night at 9 Eastern only on ESPN.
Boy, these two gentlemen really provided some excitement this evening. Chris, she came up just a little bit short, but a great performance.
Made one bad shot, and, you know, hey, it happens. You know, I shouldn't have made a bad shot, and he capitalized on it just like you're supposed to. And, hey, can't say anything about that. He out-bowled me. He's one of the greatest bowlers in the world, and, hey, I look up to him, and in my opinion, he is the greatest. And I didn't want to lose to anybody else but him.
Mike, what about your thoughts as far as Mark
Roth, the talent's getting tougher and tougher and younger. What do you think of this young player?
Chris bowled great last night. He shot 400 over, went from like 9th, led it by a couple hundred. Made one bad shot, otherwise he could have won today. Great talent, and he's still young.
Might be the Mark Roth of the future, huh?
Definitely could be.
Well, one thing is for sure, these two guys really put on a show here this evening in the Greater Buffalo Open. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned next week. Next week on ESPN, it's off to Windsor, Ontario for the finals of the $130,000 Molson Golden Bowling Challenge. All the action comes to you live from the Rose Bowl next Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. Tonight's $115,000 Greater Buffalo Open has been brought to you by Faball, home of hammer bowling balls and accessories, available at the finest pro shops everywhere. And by True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business. This has been an ESPN presentation in association with Bud Sports.